What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today, when we talked about Faraday Future, I want to break it down on what the data points are currently saying, talk on what the hell is happening, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Faraday is currently down 0.61%. Crazy volatility. So it had a spike to about 44.5 cents, a low of 32.65 cents. 26.5 million shares have been traded. 15.8 is the average. So big money got into Faraday, as you can kind of tell. That is what kickstarted this rally. But I'm going to break it down on what that truly was and everything else. Market just overall wants to go higher, and that is because of the fear and greed index being at 79. So the market just wants to propel higher as a result of that. Whether it's sustainable or not, I'm not really sure. Going over some data points, there hasn't been anything from Faraday today to really justify that rally. So no SEC filings, no press releases, no actual news, nothing at all whatsoever. I do anticipate there being news associated to Faraday's delisting, as I have mentioned over the last several videos. Just with the holiday season, probably that's delayed because Faraday has been below that $1 mark for 30 consecutive trading days, which is one of NASDAQ's main rules. So once again, that might be coming down the pipeline fairly soon. But there is some interesting activity, like I said, going over options activity. $31.5 thousand in calls being purchased versus 3,000 in puts. Sentiment-wise, 51% of all the options today have been bearish. But of the call options that have been purchased, there is a consensus for it to be over 50 cents by the end of this week. So a lot of optimism for that. Looking at puts though, it is anticipated to be sub 50 cents. Not really that many puts, like I kind of mentioned, only $3,000 worth so far. So December the 29th, January the 19th, and February the 16th, those are the ones that have puts. But still, anything below 50 cents for the strike price doesn't really make sense to buy any puts, in my opinion. But then again, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. These are some of the transactions that have occurred that have been over $100,000. So the last big transaction was on November the 20th, but technicals. I want to break it down on what is happening with the technicals, and then I'll touch on one other thing that really kickstarted that spike today. So right now at 34.4, it is trading between the pivot and the R1. With the spike up to around 44.5 cents, it was trading between this R2 and this R3. A lot of good momentum behind the scenes. But as it stands, the next strong support and resistance points that you need to watch for is around 33.1 cents is going to be the support, and 38.4 is going to be the next strong resistance. If it does break below this 33.1, so if it does continue to trend down, then it'll trade between this 27 and the 33. So technicals aren't all that bad, but there is a hell of a lot of volatility, like I mentioned. And looking right here though, shows number of retail investors have been getting into Faraday ever since around November the 29th. Stochastic, because of the recent spike from around, 25 cents, it has caused Stochastic to get somewhat hot. So it is at 70. If it does continue to go up, then it is going to be considered overbought, but there is a very strong bullish sentiment right now, so black line above the red. So that's kind of a good thing behind the scenes. But I'm sure a lot of people want to know, what the hell happened right here? Why did it spike up? And surprisingly, out of anything, there was a small squeeze for whatever reason. I can't really figure out exactly what, because there has been no news, nothing whatsoever. But for whatever reason, shorts found it advantageous to close out some of their shares. So net shorts are returning about 1.66 million shares. 45.07% of the free float is being shorted. 24.75 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 17.16%. So opening up a little bit higher compared to, last trading day, which was Friday. So that's kind of a good thing. And through Interactive Broker, short availability does indicate that there is 0 shares available to be shorted. So in a lot of stocks across the market, I think shorts have overextended themselves. You can kind of tell that based on the availability, and plus with it just being at 45%, that is crazy, crazy high. Keep in mind though, Faraday was at, I think, the peak, about 52% short interest. So I think this pullback from shorts was anticipated and somewhat justified, but this is all in GMT, so around 1700 GMT. This is where shorts just returned a lot of shares, about 3 million from the get-go, and you can kind of tell that is exactly right here. So shorts found it advantageous for whatever reason to return some shares, and by them returning, in essence, they are adding buying pressure, because that's what happens when shorts return shares, right? They add buying pressure. So by them adding buying pressure, I'm sure FOMO kicked in some regard, as well as some other shorts stop losses were getting triggered. So that is single-handedly what caused that spike up to 44 cents. No justifiable reason whatsoever. Very interesting. But once again, is it justified? I would say no, unless somehow shorts do know of something that I am not aware of. I'm not really sure. Let me know your thoughts on Faraday in the comments below. There has been no real analyst ratings behind the scenes as well, so nothing really changing for that. The latest Morningstar report did come out. I believe it was at the tail end of last week, and it does show the fair market value for Faraday being about 64 cents. So that has come down quite a lot. Still shows Faraday is at a discount. But other than that, like I said, I have no idea why shorts close out some of their positions, other than the fact that they might have just been overextended. There's a lot of optimism in the broader market. Maybe those two coupled together caused some shorts to close out the positions. But let me know your thoughts on Faraday. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Faraday? And if you are looking for the latest analyst ratings, forecast for upcoming earnings, Morningstar reports, take a look at Interactive Brokers. I do have a link to them in the description below and also the comments for all of this to be completely free. So let me know your thoughts on Faraday. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.